Hey guys, so today we're going to be redrawing this scene. In the last video that we made, we redrew our little Koopa character down here, flapping and waving his wings. It was part of this bigger image that we're going to be creating today. I just wanted to pull that out from the last video, so if you want to go back and watch that video and see us animate and modify and do whatever we need to do to this guy to get him to working the way we want to, then go back and watch that one. But today, we're going to be remaking this scene. Now, I should mention that this is part of a bigger project over on Twitter, so let's hop over to Twitter and let's show you what that is. Alright, so here we are. The project is called #Mario3 Redrawn. It's just some artists redrawing every level from Super Mario Bros. 3 in their own style and their own approach. Everyone looks different because every artist is different. And I just connected with the guy who started the project back in November. And I actually made an image initially for this project, but I didn't record it for a video. And I thought I wanted to do another one, so I reached out, connected, got another one, and this time I wanted to create some animation on our actual image because I thought that would be more interesting, or a more interesting challenge for myself than maybe the last one that I did. But if you type in #Mario3 Redrawn, you're going to see some spectacular stuff. I figured I should show you guys the previous one I made before I start making this new one. The last one that I did was the Iggy fight from Super Mario Bros. 3. Obviously, I want to do an animated one, so that's what we're doing this time around, and that's why in the previous video we animated that turtle. Anyway, let's start with the actual video. Alright, so step one is for us to make the blocks that are actually going to build up the majority of the environment in this image. You can see the ones on the left are from the original image. Pretty flat, I guess, in terms of how they were drawn. I gotta be honest that I actually like the original sprites better than I've seen anybody do them so far, even myself, just because they have such a charm and simplicity to them. But regardless, I put my spin on them, which tends to be more complex and kind of dizzying, I suppose, adding additional details. Once I get those blocks built out, you can see that here I'm building out the actual level. I know it's going by pretty quick, but I don't think that that's like anything like mind-boggling that I really need to pay that much attention to. I do want to slow down just for a second to show you guys the question block rotating animation here. I thought that it would be nice to animate this block just because I can remember it being that way in other Mario games, and I thought that it might add some additional life to the actual environment itself outside of just the characters bobbing up and down. So here, I took the time to do that because I thought it would look nicer, and I'm going to insert them here. I found that I'm going to create this image on a 5-frame cycle just because the blocks are on the 5-frame cycle. If I remember correctly, the turtle was also on a 5-frame cycle, so it's pretty easy for us to be able to link that up so that it coordinated pretty straightforward, I suppose. And here you can see they've arrived. They're in the file. Everything's moving and bobbing. I do add some additional movement to kind of offset them a little bit so they're not just all on the same sequence. Again, to kind of give a little bit more personality, a little bit more visual interest. So one of the other things that needs to be added is the coin, and I want the coin to be spinning, so I'm actually going to animate the coin spinning here. If you want advice or some notes on how to create a rotating object, I have a previous video where I made a Game Boy rotate. It's one of my first videos, so pardon the audio. I need to remake that video sometime, but if you're interested, you can find stuff about how to rotate an object in that video. Then lastly here, the last little piece or part is the pipe. Nothing major was changed, so I just kind of skimmed through it quickly. Alright, so still some parts to animate here, still some parts to create. I know there's a lot of pieces and parts to this video. There's a lot going on, kind of throwing it at you guys fast and furious, but some of this stuff is pretty involved, so I thought that it might be nice just to kind of show you every single little piece and part that I created. But we're creating a Mario animation here. I'm actually going to stop talking for a while, and then I'll just come back after this is over with. Alright, so here he is. He's all finished. Now let's start putting all these background elements into this animation and really just finishing everything off. Alright, if you're wondering what's happening here, I'm using something called tiled mode here in Aseprite. It just lets me be able to create a repeating tile that I can use for the background. Since this image seems to be underground in some capacity, I don't want to draw every brick, and it just lets me create a stamp that I can essentially use over and over again. Alright, now with this stamp, I'm going to copy and paste it into my other file. You can see I've got my other pieces and parts set up and animating. At this point, I'm just incorporating these background elements, and to do that, I'm just going to create this repeating tile and create this brick wall background. Alright, so with that done, I wanted to break up the space back here so it wasn't all just the same brick texture from left to right and top to bottom. So I tried to incorporate some graffiti, I tried to incorporate the word Bowser, I even tried to incorporate Bowser's face just because I thought that would be cool. Like, it's underground, it's kind of like a city environment in this underground sewer part of this. But I found that it was really just distracting from the stuff in the foreground, so I eventually just decided on reducing it to just a sewer grate and some mild texture just to kind of accent what was happening there already. I definitely didn't want to distract from what was happening with the animation, because that's the whole reason I did this. Alright, we're reaching the end of this here, so let's just go ahead and slide into this final image. Alright, so there it is, all done, all finished, everything's in its place. You can see that I added Luigi kicking his feet up there in the top left hand corner. I added some dripping stuff. Obviously there's animations happening down there in the HUD type thing. At the bottom, some sparkles on the coins, offsetting all this kind of stuff. Just a bunch of little doodads and pieces and parts to kind of give it some extra personality. But anyway, that's it for me. If you liked the video, make sure to like it. If you like the video, also make sure to subscribe to the channel, and also don't forget to check out Mario 3 Redrawn on Twitter if you're interested in that kind of thing. Spectacular work over there. So that's it for me today. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Press start to play.